Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is where to find contractors. Building your team of contractors can be quite intimidating when starting out. I have 3 places where I find contractors, but let me start with where not to find contractors. Google. That's right, stop looking on Google. If a contractor is on Google, that means they are paying for marketing, which in return translates to higher labor costs. You want to find the mom and pop type companies that work for wholesale prices, not retail. One place I have found contractors is at Home Depot and Lowe's at dark 30 in the morning. I look for trade shirts and ask them if they have ever worked with investors. If they have, or if they're interested, I simply add them to my phone on the spot with their specialty. When I need a painter, I simply search painters in my contacts and set up a time to get a bid. The next place I find contractors is on site at other projects. If I'm driving through a neighborhood and I see a dumpster or a porta-john, I will stop and ask to speak to the main contractor. Sometimes I get the main flooring guy, or it could be the main landscaper. I ask them if they are interested in working with investors and get their name, number, and specialty added to my phone. A bonus is if they invite me into the project so I can see the quality of their work. It's important to add, never walk into a construction project without the permission of the contractor, for it could be a huge safety violation. Lastly, and the best place to find contractors is from other investors. These contractors are vetted by investors and understand the value of working with investors. Once you find a great contractor, it is in your best interest to keep them busy to keep labor costs down. If you don't need your towel guy for a few more weeks, refer him out. He will appreciate the work and you will be bumped to the top of the list when you need a bathroom redone in a fix. So if you are looking for contractors for your next project, now you know where to find some good ones. And now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us Marina Hauser. Marina is the co-founder of Beantown Property Group LLC in Boston, Massachusetts, and has over 18 years experience in real estate. She has bought hundreds of homes, raised over $20 million to fund deals, and has sold over $50 million in real estate. She is currently buying, fixing, and holding single and multifamily properties with an average 6-figure profit. Unlike many real estate investors, she has had massive success during volatile markets such as the 2007 financial collapse and the COVID-19 pandemic. Marina most recently created $1 Million Marketing to help real estate investors start or scale their businesses and find their dream deals to generate more income and pave a path to financial freedom, generational wealth, and building a legacy. I personally have been a super fan of Marina's ever since I first heard her speak in front of thousands of people at a Fortune Builders event years ago. She is the epitome of badassery. So welcome to the show, Marina Hauser.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen. I am just as much a super fan of yours as well. So I appreciate you having me today.
I am just in awe. I can't believe we are recording together. You are just such an icon for me, and you've been a huge inspiration for me. So thank you for taking the time to be on the show today. And I can't wait to dive in. So first of all, 18 years you've been in real estate. Did you start when you were 2?
No, I started right out of college when I was like 22, 23 years old.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Man, that Greek your Greek background just keeps you looking amazingly fresh and young. And you have four little ones at home, all under the age of 8. Is that correct?
That is correct. I have
Ooh.
twins as my last two. And if anyone is wondering what your reaction is when you find out you're having twins as your third and fourth child, just watch The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. I was literally cackling like a witch. The doctor was so scared. You don't even know.
That is hilarious. Well, you are amazing. And I love your story of how you got started in real estate. And like I said, I'm a super fan because you were the very first hire by Than and the guys from Fortune Builders. So tell me about that history.
Absolutely. I always say everybody has a calling when they get into real estate. My calling happened to be with a 5-pound burrito eating contest. So basically, my senior year of college, we went to a local restaurant, Mexicali in New Haven. I went to Quinnipiac University, and I went in with my best friend, and we were waiting in line. And on the wall, I looked on my right, and on the wall, there was something called "Can you conquer the Il Champione?" And the Il Champione was a 5-pound burrito eating contest. And I looked at the wall and I said, "Hey, no women have conquered this El Champione." So I went to the counter, ordered the 5-pound burrito, and I did conquer the El Champione. I did finish the 5-pound burrito. And to put it into perspective, that's 1 pound less than my babies. My babies were like 6 pounds, 6'12", 6'15". So that's how I met Than Merrill. He came out, he took a picture of me to be the first woman on his wall. And, something about my background, you mentioned I was Greek. My parents were Greek immigrants. They opened up restaurants. And Than and I started talking about just the restaurant business, how my family has a restaurant. We started talking about marketing ideas. And a lot of people don't realize that he actually hired me to do marketing for his restaurant.
Wow.
And that's actually how we started our relationship. So when he started CT Homes, we had already established our relationship, and he asked me to be the marketing director for CT Homes. And that's how I started my real estate investing journey right out of college.
And CT Homes is the original company, real estate company for
Yep.
All the founders is it all the founders at Fortune Builders?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's Than, Paul, Conrad at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the marketing director for them, and you averaged, I was reading this, 140 leads monthly.
Yes. And just remember, this was like in 2004-05. This was before CRMs, before technology, before social media, before the digital world exploded in 2007-08. So I was testing out about 15 to 20, maybe more different campaigns. And yeah, I was averaging about 140 leads. We were doing about 100 houses a year. And then we were featured on A&E's Flip This House in New Haven. So, any marketing campaign, I've probably tested it. So
that was before HGTV, correct?
yes, that was before. Yeah, that was when A&E's Flip This House started, exploded and came on the scene.
Yes. When I joined Fortune Builders, I went back and watched every episode. They were great. They're such boys, doing the flips and everything. So,
oh man, so funny. It was a fun experience.
That is awesome. And from there, you have an agency, correct? I'm just going off of what I remember from your speeches, and you have built this empire yourself in addition to have been a speaker and working with Fortune Builders as well. So what all do you have?
So I went from CT Homes, then I was Fortune Builders first hire. So one of my specialties is building systems within the businesses. So they transitioned me to Fortune Builders, and that's where I started. And then when they moved to California, I had to make a decision. Do I go as an employee and work for Fortune Builders as an employee? Or do I take everything that I've learned from CT Homes, building wealth, real estate investing systems, and kind of go back home where I grew up in Boston and start doing it myself to start building my own wealth? And in 2008, I went back to Boston, and that's kind of where I started building my own businesses, my own wealth. my own generation, legacy, everything. I started as a short sale, in 2007, the financial collapse, right? The first thing I started when I went to Boston is putting all my marketing up. All the leads started coming in. 99% at the time were short sale deals. So everything was underwater. So I kind of pivoted and said, okay, I guess I'm starting a short sale company, So I started doing short sales for myself, started doing short sales for other companies. And I kind of became an expert and did hundreds and hundreds and helped hundreds of homeowners during that period. And then, I partnered with 2 other investors in my area. We started Beantown Property Group. The market started to kind of correct itself, go up, and we specialize in single and multifamily renovations. So we have Beantown Property Group, which is our investment and development company. We have Candor Holdings, which is our property management, where all our rentals are. I just became an EXP agent. I had my own brokerage for about 10 years with Realty National, but I just transitioned to EXP. So I'm a broker agent as well. And now I'm just starting also in the real estate education game, and just started my new program, $1 Million Marketing.
Well, I would love to dive into that, because clearly bringing in, an average of 140 leads monthly with none of the technology we have today, you are a badass at this. And I would love to dive in. And basically the program, it is a 5-step program.
Yeah. So basically I have something called a $1 Million Marketing Ascension Pyramid. So it's basically the 5 steps or levels you need to go from either overwhelmed or struggling real estate investor with your marketing. A lot of people, when they come into the program, that side of the business either overwhelms them, it scares them, or just simply they just don't know. They've never been in a marketing capacity, done that skill in their life ever. So they just don't know it. So we kind of go from overwhelmed, struggling, and then you go up the 5 levels of the Ascension Pyramid to get to a confident kind of chief marketing officer mentality. And you're kind of thinking and acting like the head of marketing, chief marketing officer, so you can exit from being a technician and a worker to managing your marketing department. Because I don't want you working in your marketing department. I want you to be managing, directing, and being the head of your marketing department.
So what does this entail hiring? Are you hiring people? Are you working with virtual assistants? How do you grow it?
Absolutely. So do you mind if I walk you through the 5 steps?
Please.
So basically, the first step is, kind of mastering your marketing mindset. So what we do is we kind of go back into like marketing 101 basics. When I ask people, what is the definition of marketing? 99% cannot tell me what the definition of marketing is. So we're kind of bringing it back to the basic. Just so everybody knows, the definition of marketing is presenting your services and products in a way where people are eager to work with you. So when you really think about that definition of marketing, you're like, oh, wow, that's my whole business. That's all I'm doing. I'm just presenting my business and myself, not just your business, yourself. Everything you're doing is presenting your services in a way, and it sellers, contractors, investors, buyers, every single part of your business. So we kind of get you in the right mindset. Not only do we cover marketing 101 basics, I get into success 101 basics as well. Because a lot of times when people get into the real estate investing business, they don't truly understand what it takes to be successful. And we kind of get into that in the program as well. You hear about the 1% and the 99%, right? Mm-hmm. So what's the big difference between 1% and the 99%? The ultra high net individuals, successful millionaire individuals, and the 99% rest of the population? It's strictly how they're using their time. And we get into that. People in the 1%, success category, ultra high net worth individuals, they spend their time working on their dreams. And by that, what I mean is they're working on money-making activities. Gotcha. And lead generation is the number one money-making activity in your business. And that's what you need to understand. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's so important to start with mindset. And I think the folks at Fortune Builders, they were my education program, and I'm forever grateful to them. I owe all of my success to them. in the beginning, and they really stress the importance of that mindset. And so many of these gurus out there, like just dive in, do this, here, throw up these bandit signs, do this, that, and then, but there's no focus on the mindset. So that is so important to begin with that, because you're never going to get to that 1% if you're still thinking like the 99%.
Absolutely. Even when you start your business, right? When you start your real estate investment business, people actually don't think about, what am I ultimately going to do with my business? And there's three ultimate things you end up doing with a business. It is, you're either closing it, which doesn't make sense. Why don't you just work for somebody else if you're going to end up closing it, right?
Right.
You're either going to ultimately sell it, or you're going to pass it on to your kid, whoever it is, you're passing it on. So when you think about it, again, this is things that real estate investors don't really think when they're starting out, or even now when they're in, years, decades later. Are you going to ultimately close your business, sell your business, or pass it down? Once you figure out, okay, I don't want to be in this business long term, I want to build it to sell it, then you're going to work towards, building a business that you can sell. And that's ultimately the systems that you're, building in your business. So just things like that to get your mindset in order. You cannot, it's the foundation of any business. Just having, entrepreneurship is a mindset game. Huge. Especially with market.
Right.
Exactly. So that's step number one. Step number two is systems.
I love systems.
Yes. So systems is totally that is where I thrive, I shine, I excel. And again, if I ask people, what is the definition of a system? A lot of people won't be able to tell me, right? It's just reducing something to its simplest form, right? A step-by-step way, and reducing things to its simplest form where you can ultimately replace yourself, where you can exit. And that's where scaling ultimately happens. So the reason I came up with this program is because I found a gap in our market. A lot of real estate, investors, no matter what stage of the game they're in, beginners, maintaining, or scaling, they have so many amazing tools and educational programs. But the one thing that they don't have, this is where I found the gap in the market, is a place to park all that information, a system. So in my program, what I teach and what I give my students is my whole back end marketing operation system.
Wow.
Yes. So, this is something that I have created basically since the beginning, over the course of almost 2 decades, but I really started to fine tune it around 2013, 14. And it's basically, my whole marketing department back-end operating system that I teach my students. I have basically, I use the Trello system.
Right.
And what I have done is I have broken down the whole marketing department into basically 6 categories. And the 6 categories are, 6 categories, but you go through it day by day. So Mondays are direct mail days.
Okay.
Tuesdays are free marketing days. Wednesdays are CRM and email days. Thursday is networking days. Friday is online digital marketing, and Saturday is signage.
Let's go to Tuesday. What's that free marketing?
Oh, free marketing. I love it. Okay. So basically free marketing. And again, so we're getting our free marketing card. And what we learn about in the free marketing day is auctions, Craigslist ads.
Gotcha.
Bird dog, again, we go into each system, your follow-up lead system. Once you get a lead, once you get your marketing out and a lead comes in, what do you do with that lead?
Right.
Are you never going to contact them again? It's yours and it's free forever. So that is such a hot free marketing tool. It's crazy. Zillow, right? So many free, I have about 6 free campaigns that I teach you the exact marketing steps and systems that I have created so you can implement into your business as well.
This is fantastic. What value that you are providing by opening your own operating system to your students for someone who has gone through the crash in 2007 and has been successful through all of that. And that's, so much value to that, Marina. Thank you for doing that, because I'd like to get my eyeballs on that myself.
And the other thing too, just for working moms, for moms out there or women who want to have children, this is the system. So in 2013, 14, I had my daughter. The one thing I regret in my life is I only took 8 weeks off maternity leave because I had to get back to work, right? So this is where I started the whole Trello system. I said, there's no way if I have any more kids, there is zero chance I'm ever doing that again. That was wrong of me. I can't believe I didn't have myself completely set up where I could take a longer, so I started building my whole back end operating system with Trello. 2 years later, I had my son. I took 13, 14 weeks off maternity leave.
Nice.
A year after that, I had my twins. It was so built out. We had hired so many people. And to work those systems, I never went back to work after the twins. I started work from home before the quarantine. So in 2018, I was working from home, working my Trello board, streamlining my time, and being able to be a present mom, the mom I always wanted to be to my children, especially in those first 5 years of their formative years. It's so important to be there for that.
And your husband doesn't do anything with this business, correct?
And nope, he is my support, my hype man. He is a teacher and a coach. He is, he gets me through everything. We really balance each other out. I can't imagine if I had someone similar to me. It would be a very intense family life.
So I asked that because I have several listeners out there that are single women raising kids, single moms, and you are saying, yes, you can do this.
Yes. It's systems. Les Brown says there is no secret to success. There are systems to success. When you start reducing things to their simplest level, step by step, where you can, the ultimate goal of that is to replace yourself, right? So you have the time to work on your money-making activities. It all goes back to you working on your money-making activities that move the needle in your business.
I am jumping through this microphone because, Marina, you are speaking it, girl. I love it. All right. So step number 1 is mindset. Step number 2 is systems. What is step number 3?
Awesome. So step number 3 is basically your campaigns. So the number 1 question I get is online versus offline. And I say they're both equally as important. So that's why I created the 6 categories where they touch upon, is free marketing better? Is direct mail better? They're all equally important, especially if you're trying to play the long game, which real estate investing is. You kind of have to touch on every marketing, every kind of marketing category. And again, that's why, categorize it in 6 ways. So you're doing both online and offline. They both have their pros and cons. But what I do in this program is we go through, I would have to say like 20, 30 campaigns. So under direct mail, I'll show you my absentee system, my probate system, my tax lien system, like 10 different direct mail campaigns. I give you my step-by-step checklist, my marketing pieces, fulfillment, resources, whatever it is. There is no guessing. You literally just have to take action to get it out there. Free marketing, same thing. My CRM, networking, whatever it is. We go through my campaigns within each category in detail so you can create your own system. It's done for you. You just have to kind of plug in your own information. So
question
number 3.
Question on campaigns.
Yes.
Do you find, because real estate is so cyclical, it goes up and down and things change, do you find certain campaigns do better at certain times of the year, or certain, when inflation's going up? Do you have to pivot to change up your campaigns?
Not really. I think kind of maybe not the opposite, but I think when you do get your marketing out, right, your leads actually dictate what you can do with, as deals. So like I gave you an example, when I got my marketing out in 2007, my leads were all underwater. So if I said, I don't want to do short sales, I would have to close the doors, right? So I don't think there's a better campaign for each market. I think you need to be consistent with your marketing and let your leads dictate what you can do. For example, right now, or during the COVID pandemic, our specialty was, hey, the market is going up so rapidly. Let's just do the bare minimum work and slap it right back on the market. We call those fluff and buffs.
Yes.
We did the minimum work. We did a fluff and buff, slapped it right back on the market and made a quick profit. and didn't have to spend time on these crazy development projects that we've been doing, So the leads and the market dictated what we can do. So I don't think marketing camp. No, I think being consistent is the most important thing with your marketing, and continuing to get out your direct mail. Like, for example, right now, what we're seeing is probates are coming back, and people are looking, there were a lot of deaths that have happened the last couple of years, and
right.
There are families now that are looking to unload their properties. So probates are a great target right now because, people need help and they need a solution for that. There's another list right now that a lot of my students are testing out, calling it's the crashing credit list. So it's people that have bought the last 5 years that so the criteria is they've bought the last 5 years. Number 2, they have a little equity in the property, and number 3 is they're behind on their mortgage payments in the credit bureaus, but there hasn't been a pre-foreclosure filed yet. So it's kind of like a 30, 60, 90-day list. However, the difference is they have bought the last 5 years.
Understood. That is fantastic. I mean, I hate thinking about COVID and that there were more deaths, et cetera. And, but I have put probate in the back. And so thank you for reminding me to, that would be a great place to go. And when I first heard people going after probate situations, I was like, ugh, that's so icky. But families, that could be a huge financial burden to them to have a property that's been left to them and they can't maintain it. And it's very expensive for them. So it's actually a huge service to provide an exit for those families, I think.
Absolutely. And I think it's, again, a mindset thing. It's only icky if you don't think of yourself as a problem solver and somebody who really, truly wants to help these people. Right. Because, that's something that I do, trust, integrity, experience, satisfaction. These are core values of mine that I bring into every seller appointment. I truly want to help. And like you said, when somebody loses a loved one and they're left with a property that they can't afford, that's a really big problem for them. And they do need a solution. And a lot of times it's not a real estate agent. They just want to get rid of it and just make some quick cash, just unload it. So when you can transition your mindset and think of yourself as like a problem solver and you're really serving this type of, lead, then, it's actually doing a very big service to your community and that person.
Well said. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Yeah. So we have mindset, systems, campaigns. What is number 4?
Okay. This is where most people kind of get stuck. Okay. So I'll have investors get out their campaigns once. They'll get 2 calls and they'll say, oh, it didn't work. Right. Or it didn't do this or this, I didn't work. It's not working. But they're not tracking anything. The metrics are by far one of the, if not the most important parts of scaling and exiting out of your, worker mentality and mindset. Right. The second you start to track, like, for example, I might not get the most calls from probates, but I get the most quality deals from probates.
Right.
So some people might say, I'm not getting enough calls. But when you look at your response rate versus your conversion rate, you might say, hey, I'm maybe right under 1% with probates, but my conversion rate is double my other campaigns. So looking at your, key performance indicating numbers, which are also called KPIs, your KPIs and your metrics will determine what campaigns are really working, what campaigns are not working. And again, getting back into that CMO, Chief Marketing Officer mentality. You're making good business decisions when you have the numbers to base those decisions off of.
So do you have a program to track this?
Absolutely. I have a marketing lead tracker. I have a direct mail tracker that my students absolutely love. It's in one worksheet. So you're tracking all of your direct mail, and on the bottom, it basically gives you your response rate, your conversion rate, your cost per lead, and your ROI. So when you're looking at it as a business owner, a head of marketer, CMO, you're looking at your key numbers where you can make good business decisions for your marketing. So you're not wasting money. The bottom line is you do not want to waste money. And the only way you won't waste money is if you know your numbers.
Well, I am very guilty at not tracking my KPIs. And it's just one of those things where I need to start scaling my business. I need to start adding people to my team. But if I could have a worksheet that does this for me, I mean, Marina, this is just heavenly to me. So, especially from Miss Badass herself right there. For me, and going back to campaigns for a second here, and then evolving them into the metrics and determining this, I will focus on one for a while. I'll do direct mail, and then I'll keep a little spreadsheet. I got this call, and I do some KPIs, but taking that to the next level, like people out there listening really, really need help with this. And I think this program is going to be so beneficial for so many people. It's not a coaching program. You're not teaching people how to flip houses. This is literally marketing 101, 102, 103, everything. And such a need for this. And I don't know anyone who's doing something like this. So thank you. And I'm ready to dive into the fifth one. What is the fifth step in your 5-step process here to maximizing your marketing?
Well, my fifth step, I call it the gold standard. This is where true freedom lies, is when you're ready to replace yourself with your MVPs, your most valuable players. So what we go in through the program is kind of tracking what you're doing, how long you're doing it, and kind of who you need to replace yourself. And I kind of have like 4 categories. Is it somebody you can hire in-house? Is it an expert like a graphic artist, a copywriter, an expert in a field where you can just pay as an independent contractor? Or is it a mentor or consultant that you need? Sometimes you need somebody to come in and say, no, you need to change. It's not an employee. It's somebody who's kind of better at you at something that you need to show you how to do something, So is it in-house? Is it kind of an expert? Not in-house, kind of like independent contractor, or is it a mentor consultant that you need? So based on those 3 things, what do you need to hire to replace you? And again, this is where you ultimately scale, become a CMO. I teach you, I give you basically everything, how to find the right marketing person for the right task that you're trying to hire for, kind of what to pay them. I give you all the forms to look for that person, and also how to onboard them. You can find the right person, but if you don't onboard them the right way, then you're not going to have a slam dunk winner, And ultimately what this MVPs level does, it is allows you, again, bring it back to your time, to spend your time on money-making activities in this business.
That 1%.
Getting to that 1%, and it's doable. Did you know that 88% of the 1% are self-made people? That means it's people just like you and me who have literally just spent their time working on their dreams.
I love it. So listeners, that is the basics to the $1 million marketing 5-step program that Marina is busted her ass creating for all of us. So Marina, how do they find you and get access to this program?
Excellent. So I spent the last 6 months having 2 beta sessions. So I taught it to about 30 students.
I don't remember being asked to be a part of that, by the way, Marina.
You know what? I wanted students who I did not know, because I wanted to make sure that it works.
Gotcha.
So there were students beginning, maintaining, and scaling who I didn't kind of know, but wanted to teach this program to see if it worked. I didn't feel comfortable marketing it to the masses until I knew it worked. And when I tell you, my students are getting amazing results. They had huge breakthroughs and transformations, and the results coming in right now are so amazing. I am so excited to market this, to the masses. My next session starts end of September. But in the meantime, I'm having a challenge, a double your leads with direct mail challenge. So before, you can go to www.doubleyourleads.com. You can sign up for the Double Your Leads challenge, or you can, contact me directly, and I'll give you the information on the next session for $1 Million Marketing.
Well,
which starts end of September.
End of September. So make sure you check out that website. And I see, after just having this brief conversation with you, what Than Merrill saw in you years ago, and to put his marketing for his massive program that he has in your hands, and you are now giving that back to all these newer real estate investors, older real estate investors who maybe need a kick in the ass like me to, get their marketing focus. So Marina, thank you so much for doing this. And you heard me at the beginning do a badassery bestowment where I talked about contractors. Do you have a little piece of advice, a badassery bestowment yourself to share with the listeners?
Absolutely. I was actually writing down my ideas while you were talking. So you gave amazing ideas. Those are definitely the top 3 ways. But what I would add to that is number 1, bandit signs. Contractors wanted bandit signs. Just putting them around the town that you're working in. They're billboards. So again, don't spam an area. But definitely contractors wanted bandit signs, and also getting T-shirts and on the back saying contractors wanted. That's a walking billboard. So whenever you're out running errands, whatever it is you're doing, by all means, put on your shirt, and I will guarantee you will have people, tapping you on the back, asking for more information.
That is excellent. And thank you for sharing that. And the second half of the podcast is what makes Marina a badass. And I use the acronym BADASS. And the first letter is B for book. So what is a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
I know a lot of people will be shocked, but it's The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I mean, that is the classic systems book. It is the book that when Than asked me to join CT Homes, he actually gave it to me and he said, this is the first book I want you to read. And it honestly changed my life. Can I tell you a quick story about my background?
Please.
Okay. So basically, like you said, I'm a Greek American. My parents immigrated. I'm actually the first person in my family born in America. So what that means with Greek American immigrants is we're hustlers, right? So my whole childhood, they opened up a restaurant like most Greek Americans do. And, my whole life, I saw my parents working hard, hustling. By 14, I was working in the restaurant. Listen, if you want to eat some humble pie, we talked about being basketball players.
Yes.
I was an athlete in high school, and my dad had me work Friday nights, all day Saturday, Sundays. The only time I wasn't working is when I had a sports game. But the thing that people don't realize is when I played sports on Friday night, when I had my game, I would run to the restaurant to help my family because Friday's the most, busy night.
Right.
So I would literally serve the players who were going to eat dinner that I just played with.
Wow.
So talk about hustling, eating some humble pie, you know what I mean? And just working your butt off.
Did you have to apologize for any fouls or anything while serving them?
Nope, not me. Not me. You don't become a top rebounder by apologizing. You know that.
We can box out with the best of them.
Let's just say I sent a couple of girls to the hospital with my elbows. That's my claim to fame. I'm not proud of it, but nobody beat me into getting a rebound. I'll tell you that. So basically, when Than gave me that book and I read it, my whole background, hustling, working at my family's restaurant, I said, I'm doing it the wrong way. Why should I work hard when I can work smart? And, one of the examples in the book is McDonald's, right? The ultimate, restaurant system. So it really, kind of changed my whole life on how I view business. So
what is the E in E-Myth?
Entrepreneur, entrepreneur myth. Yes.
And it's based on the pyramid. And so explain the pyramid real quick. Because this is so important for the listeners if you have not read this.
It's kind of, it's basically creating systems so you can exactly kind of what I was talking about earlier. Exit from, so the pyramid is you're a technician, a manager, and an entrepreneur ultimately, right? Mm-hmm. So what you want to do with the pyramid is kind of in order to be a true entrepreneur and basically have the freedoms to do what you want and be what you want and build wealth, you have to exit out of the technician stage. You have to exit out of the manager stage. And that's when you become a true entrepreneur. And that is solely done by implementing systems.
And how cool is it full circle that Michael Gerber, the author, then wrote one for real estate investors and had Than and Paul, Yep. Than and Paul contribute to that book. So I love that whole story right there.
Yep. I was definitely geeking out with that. I got a signed copy. Don't worry.
I have a signed copy myself. All right. The first A in badass is advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Again, when I started my entrepreneurial journey with Than, Paul, Conrad, CT Holmes, again, Than is a huge mentor of mine. I hate to say this, but he is a genius. And I was so blessed to work with no, it's true. Like
Yes.
He's such a visionary and genius. And I was so blessed, and he's changed so many investors' lives. And I was so honored to work beside him and continue to work beside him. But the one piece of advice that he gave me early on, and I'm going to read this because I kind of wrote it down. I love it. I have it written down. It's to really be a success in business, in the business world, you need to learn how to create companies, not work in them. It's exactly what I was telling you earlier. You know, what are you going to do with your company? You have to create a company, but what are you going to do with it? And then he said, the wealthiest people in America do not have a job. They are not investors. They are owners of multiple businesses that generate capital through investments. And that is the truth. And that's why I have so many businesses. My rental business, my development business, my brokerage business, now my coaching business. I'm owning, that piece of advice I took to heart, because that is how I'm building my wealth, my legacy, what I will leave to my children. Ultimately have, which I do, kind of have freedom to do what I want.
Well, Than, I agree 1,000% is a genius, but even on top of that, he's such a genuine person and truly cares about his people and their success. And I know it was tough during the pandemic to kind of shift because it's a live event company, and those live events changed my life, and I am forever grateful to him. By the way, Than Merrill, I love you. Be on my podcast. Okay, so. All right, the D in bad.
Bribe him with a burrito. He'll come. Say, I will have a burrito delivered to you while you're sitting on the podcast to have lunch. That'll get to him. He loves tacos and burritos.
I'll eat a 5-pound burrito if that will get him on the show. So,
challenge him to a 5-pound burrito.
All right, the D in badass is drive. What drives you to be successful?
Well, other than being a Leo, so I was born being driven. No,
and you just had a birthday, by the way. We're recording this in August, so happy belated birthday to you.
Thank
it's just
you so
last
much.
week.
I
yes,
appreciate it. I'm 39 for the second year, so I'm excited about it.
Excellent.
But basically, what drives me is self-mastery and growth. I'm always looking to grow. I'm always moving. I was the dork in high school who, yes, I was an athlete, but when I wasn't working or an athlete, I was at Borders or Barnes and Noble. I loved reading personal development books. I love reading business books. I love growing. I love self-mastery. And it's something that when I don't have it in my life, I get really stuck and depressed. There was a time when I had all my children, when I wasn't really, into personal development. I was changing 15 diapers a day, when I had 4 kids under 3 years old. I always, if I'm ever in a rut, I always go back to either reading, self-development, doing something where growth happens.
So important.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. The second A in badass is aspiration. I am a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on?
Basically to build this program, the $1 Million Marketing Program, into a category of one business. Like you said, nobody is teaching this right now.
No one.
Nobody is teaching my operating system because I'm the one who created it and tested it and tracked it. Like nobody is teaching you that. Nobody, the $1 million question in this business is, how did you find that deal? And that's where I want to open up the vault. I want to grow a beautiful community of people talking about marketing because it is the most important part of the business. And when I look at real estate investing, if you look at it like a domino effect, it's the first domino that falls.
Right.
How are you going to raise money when, you're not having people call you, or find deals, how are you going to do a rehab if your phone isn't ringing, and you're getting these properties under contract? So I kind of want to build it into a category of one business. I want to build, my dream is to kind of it be the gift for the next generation. When kids are saying, I don't want to go to college, I want people to say, you have to take this course. You have to. I want it to be like a Harvard education of marketing for real estate investors. And my dream right now is serving our real estate investor community and just giving it all and building this thing. And, during COVID, I had a big, epiphany, or, everybody kind of was like, okay, what's happening here? Kind of started looking at their life. And I said, what do I do? What do I love? What am I doing next? Like, I like real estate investing, but it's a great, amazing career. It's building me wealth, but what am I meant to do? And I thought, once you get to a certain level of success, you kind of have to pay it forward. And this is kind of my way of paying it forward based on my experience to our real estate investing community. So that's all I'm doing right now. I'm literally just driven to make this the best of the best category of one marketing program.
Well, what a gift you have to share with people. I can't stress enough. And this is not something that is taught out there. And it's not, it could be part of other, massive coaching programs, but this is just a one-stop shop for someone who may be stuck. I have a handful of students that when they get a project, they just focus on one project at a time and they stop their marketing, which is their biggest mistake. And so thank you for providing this. And I can't say it enough. So, all right, moving on, because I will geek out. The first S in badass is systems, your favorite. So what systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I'm a very simple lady. I like simplicity is my thing as an organized person. I should have not the home edit, but the business edit, where I come and organize people's businesses. But the three major systems that I'm using right now that are helping me are the Trello system, my CRM, and G Suite. Google, everything is web-based. So it's easy to be in an office or work from home for both you and your employees and the people that are hiring for you. So all those three again, huge reminder, I came into this business before all of these things.
Right.
So I know what everything was manual. When I first started, everything with CT Homes was manual. All my campaigns, I used to have them in a folder system, bins in a folder system. It was crazy. So those are the three major systems that have streamlined me in my business.
And those are included in your program too.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely go in depth with every single one of those. Yes.
So good. All right. To wrap this up, the final S in badass is success. What does success mean to Marina Hauser?
Success to me is peace of mind, calm, serenity. I mean, when people think of success, when you're thinking of just money or this or things, those are, those things, I think success is a feeling. So for me, success is those things I just mentioned: peace of mind, calm, and serenity. So in my program and the mindset module, I have my students draw a picture of their perfect day. So I say, after you draw a picture of your perfect day, I want you to feel it, smell it, hear it, feel it. I want you to feel it. And what I've realized with having my students do this exercise is a lot of my students say, I have had my perfect day, but I didn't have peace of mind. I was worrying about things. I was this. And that has led me to believe that success is having a peace of mind, and money will give you a peace of mind if you use it the right way, right? Calm, serenity, freedom and control over your life is your ultimate why. But one step further than that is feeling that peaceness and calmness to do whatever you want, to be honest with you.
Do you have a lot of peace and serenity at home with 4 kids?
No. Not right now. Listen, you ever want to babysit? I'll give you my address. You can come babysit for me any day you want.
Well, I'm allergic to children. I was a school teacher for 16 years. And
God bless.
Oh, yes. It was the best form of birth control. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yes. God bless. Oh, you need some kind of award. Oh.
Well, you are just an amazing person, and I appreciate your time coming on the show and sharing your badassery. And one more time, how can the listeners find you?
Excellent. Thank you again so much for having me, Jen. I really appreciate you and your listeners. So the way people can find me is going to www.doubleyourleads.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Marina Hauser, or at Instagram at Marina P. Hauser, Hauser, not HOU.
Well, I am looking forward to doubling my leads, and listeners, you need to jump on this opportunity. So thank you, Marina, and thank you for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.